How everybody doing? It's Poet Deep back at you with another wonderful topic. So tonight I'm going to be speaking on, or today I should say, it's night when I'm recording this, but it'll probably be day when you see it, depending on where you live at and when you tune in. But today's topic is about the road ahead, and pretty much for anybody that's new to my content, I have gum in my mouth. Excuse me. That's bad speech etiquette. I just started chewing gum again. Like, I found vegan gum. I mean, my wife been chewing it for a while, and then I jumped on the bandwagon real late, and I kind of like it. You know, it's something to do. You know, it keeps me stimulated for some reason. But anyway, or it keeps me occupied rather than stimulated. But anyway, I like to give content that really help those that are really in need. We're understanding that a lot of us are who we are by way of our mindset. And a lot of this information is not just helpful for other people, but it's really helpful for me because I spend a lot of my time dealing with self-development, self-improvement, spiritual development, and things of that nature. So I like to provide that type of content that helps to better and sharpen character, right? So that's what a lot of my content, you know, with these talks and stuff like that I'm providing, these episodes, that is basically what this is about. So today's topic is the road ahead. And what I mean by the road ahead is basically challenges and obstacles and things we have to face. It's not the road itself, but it's about what the road consists of, the travel and things like that. What happens while traveling this road ahead. And sometimes a lot of us feel very defeated by the road ahead, by how we perceive it, the struggle that we imagine that we're going to encounter, the failure that we're going to meet and things like that. And a lot of times before we can actually travel the road and get to experience the road ahead, we already give up, or we run into certain jams or certain accidents on the road. And we assume that because of something bad that happened, that it will always be that way. And so basically, I just wanted to give inspiration and motivation for those of us to look in a very positive manner of the road ahead, and looking at five essential qualities that I believe will be needed. And if you see that there are additional qualities or other qualities, please subscribe. Please comment below. I guess I wanted to say that too. If you like what you're going to hear, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so every time that I drop something, you'll be first to know. So first, and I gotta write this stuff down, because I will forget trying to commit this stuff to memory, right? So the first quality is patience. So I think patience is really a no-brainer, right? When you're striving to get something that you do not have, you have to have patience. And your sense of timing has to change, because sometimes due to the extremities that we experience in life, we want, with the extremities, it can cause sometimes pain, it can cause discomfort. And because of that discomfort, sometimes we want a quick fix out of that discomfort. And with that quick fix out of the discomfort, it can create a situation where as though we become very impatient, right? And so we have to have patience. But in order to have patience, our understanding about the situation has to be properly understood in its proper context. And for one, we have to have the understanding. This should have been a quality and it's not, but we have to be present to extract as much value that's going on around us when we are struggling and striving and focus on thriving. And, this is for myself. I find myself sometimes not being as present. I'm looking at where I'm not at, and I'm stuck in the thought of where I'm not at, instead of actually looking at the various things, the joys that are going on right now, and how I'm not engaging in those joys. And if I was engaging in some of these joyous moments or great things that are happening and changing my mind about how I see my step-by-step situation, I would actually end up being more patient, because I'm pulling from value. I'm being fed something that feels like purpose, that feels like meaning. Whereas you cannot feel that your life or your journey only has meaning at its destination, because there's no real destination anyway. But sometimes our minds can think the destination is to be away from the discomfort, to be away from the discontentment and things like that. So the understanding that we have is that the journey, it's the journey that has meaning, the whole entire journey. When you're down and out, don't have much, or when you think you don't have much, you have to, you see what I'm saying? You got to be able to see this. You got to be able to see that this is all part of the beauty of the journey. And when you're present, you start to understand the value that is actually around you. So things that you did not think were worth it before, or certain things that you did not understand what it possessed, you start to engage in those different things. And those things can help you with patience. Endurance. Endurance and patience can tie in, but endurance is you not only being patient, but you have to be able to have the energy to stick it through. You have to be able to persevere, because you're going to go through things, or we're going to experience unpleasant things. And sometimes it can be a high and a low moment, a high and a low moment, a bumpy ride, a roller coaster. And with that roller coaster, we have to have endurance to be able to stick the ride through. We got to be able to stick it in, no matter how long it's for. But if we're being present, and if we are extracting value during the ride, we are still being developed, and we're seeing the good in it, and the good in us, and the good in others while we're going through the process. So with that being said, the endurance is necessary, because if you have to travel, you have to be able to endure the obstacles, the challenges, anything that you face. You have to be willing to endure it. And you must build yourself up mentally, spiritually, physically, to be able to endure and to be able to last, so that you can be able to meet your goals. Ability to discover and uncover. And I think that's very special in terms as ability to discover and uncover. And it's a little bit more involved than how I'm just saying it. But sometimes we lack the necessary knowledge that we need in order to understand what's the next thing to do in the process. And we have to be about the business of networking and discovering, uncovering, when we're finding out things, when we're having different tools or different methods to be able to examine, understanding the thought processes of other people who have been where we are, or people that they've already been where you're trying to go, or they're already there. So with that being said, we have to be about studying and educating ourselves as much as possible to really get our mindset together and understanding the necessary information, because sometimes we meet failure is not because we were bound to fail from the beginning. It's not because, we didn't necessarily have enough money, or it just went bad, or, these people did not do what they're supposed to do. We did not properly educate ourselves about how to properly prepare and to properly arm ourselves before taking on this task and mission. And I don't want people to feel like, you have to feel like you're 100% ready before you start. You can learn in the process, but you want to be able to discover and uncover. You want to always be able to have a relationship with your thought process, whereas you're seeing about what's best to do next, evaluating, what went wrong, what went right, why did it go wrong, what contributed it to going right. So, we want to be able to definitely deeply examine those things. Preparation. And that also falls with ability to discover and uncover. With preparation, without proper education, you cannot properly prepare, because what education does is provide you with the understanding of the necessary tools that's needed. It provides you the know-how. Once you have the know-how, then you can organize these tools upon your, education. You can organize these tools in a certain fashion that perform a function that is to meet a goal or to have some type of desired effect. So you have to look at that. You got to really look at that deeply, as far as how do you prepare. And sometimes we have to look at not what, but who must we be in order to achieve the task at hand. Some of these things require us to be more than what we've ever been. Some of these things, it causes for us to step outside of ourselves in a great way, which can cause a lot of discomfort, because a lot of us can become very comforted by who we currently are, to function on automatic, to talk the way that we talk, think the way that we think, stay in the same places or around the same people. Whereas certain initiatives or certain things that we want to be involved in, it's going to cause for us to really jump out of our comfort zone, So preparing is making sure that we have from our education the necessary tools lined up. And even if you're wrong, this tool should not have been applied in that situation, because sometimes it's not like, when you're in a process of going after something, you can get 100% educated before you start. But you do as much of your due diligence in the education process so that you're able to understand some of the ramifications of what you're getting yourself into. And the more you network and build with other people, you find out other people's trial and error stories that allows you to be able to better prepare and understand the nature of what you get yourself into. Lastly, the most important one is execute. Because to prepare for something, to talk to people, to work on your patience and your endurance and things like that. And of course, if you're not executing, you can't endure anyway, right? But you want to work on execution. You never want to get too tied up into the world of theory. You want your theory and your practice to have a very great relationship with each other, where there's a time for theory and then there's a time for practice, your execution. You have to be about execution, because obtaining information and going through training and stuff like that means nothing if you're not going to execute. You have to execute. And there's nothing wrong with executing and making mistakes. That is going to happen. But remember, the more you're uncovering and discovering, you're able to find out your mistakes and stuff like that. You're able to see how you can better execute the next time around. So let's not be in fear of the road ahead. Let's look at the road ahead as part of our destiny to help develop us to becoming a better person. And the more we look at this, the more we embrace that, we can be excited about the journey from beginning to the end. And what I mean by the end is when you have completed that task. But when you complete that task, if we're going to continue to develop and continue to be our higher selves, then you'll find another task which is going to demand of you to start that process again for something else. But it's growth in the process. And with this growth, we can be not only a blessing to ourselves, but we can also be examples for other people to be able to look at, because that is what helps inspire a lot of us. And so we have to get ourselves into the mindset of development, refinement, change, transformation, evolution. We have to be in that mindset. So, as I said before, execution is very important. But always remember, you can't execute properly without education. Do your due diligence. And not only that, before you start anything, you want to make sure that not before you start, but when you do something, you want to make sure that you put your best foot forward. You want to make sure of that for sure. Put your best foot forward. So things take time. I'm dealing with a lot of different things right now. My own personal journey. I'm working on financial freedom. And, the more and more I'm looking at the numbers, the money that I make, I'll look at, the expenses and stuff like that of, having a family and the different things that it takes to maintain. I'm looking at, what I'm making, I'm saying like down to the last dime, and looking at what I have to do to move forward to make some type of progress. I'm not all happy about it because it's not the type of progress that I want to make within the time that I want to make it in, but there's still other opportunities that I can engage in that will make it even more worthwhile. But I'm still excited about the journey. I'm doing some very wise things with the resources that I do have, and one of those things is tax refund that I receive every year. So, what I'm looking to do is have my time back more for my family and for the things that I love doing. And my long-term goal is not to be subjected to the 9 to 5. For me, I would like my time back, and I would like to be able to have passive income, meaning when I'm sleeping or when I'm doing something else, I can still be generating income. That is the type of life that I want to live, because money for me is not a status symbol. Money for me is a resource and a tool that will allow me to be able to invest into someone or something that can be great to help sustain the lives of people. Nothing more, nothing less. So, with that being said, that sums up pretty much what I had to speak about for this one, this episode, this talk, which is the road ahead. Please, definitely, I'll be posting my link to my music. Check out my other material that I have on my YouTube channel. And by all means, if you like this and you thought that this was valuable, please subscribe to this channel and also hit the notification bell to be sure that anytime when I drop something, you're going to be the first to know. Got new music coming out soon. I'm working. So please, I hope that I provided value. Share with your friends. And make sure you comment. Tell me what y'all think. Is there a way this could have been better, or whatever suggestions you have? Feel free to comment and respond. Have a good one. Peace.